Listen-only mode.
All right, guys, you can just let me know if you can hear me okay, and we can get started on this. And today what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about the networks, the private networks that we're working with, and I'll explain a little bit deeper what we're doing with them and what the plans are going forward with those as well, because we need to be careful because they are private networks, so we need to use them properly, that they're not going to harm us for the money sites and things like that as well. So this is what I'm going to talk about today, how we're doing them, some experiments that we'll be doing with them, and some ideas that I want to introduce as we go forward and as we get more and more members coming in. Okay, so everybody can hear me okay?
It looks like everybody can hear you all right, Tony. They can't see your screen, though.
I see my screen. Okay, let me try and switch my screen now. Change the presenter. What are you saying? I wonder what you are saying. Let me just change over to me. Okay. Can you see now?
Okay, Christian Alva says he can see the PPT presentation. I'm not seeing anything. I think I need to go out and come back in again. Everybody's being recorded as offline questions.
Okay, let's see if we've got other people can see before you go away, because what I'm seeing here is something different. I'm seeing this thing here. Go to the webinar screen, but it's not showing. How's that? Are other people able to see my screen or not?
I get no video, nothing here, can't see it. Was fine. Another says I can see the screen. Another one says not anymore.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time. Show my screen one more time. Okay, let me know.
John Curie says he can see fine. Denise says yes. Levi says yes. I'm not seeing anything at all on my side.
Okay, I think you need to come out and come back in then. That's probably the best solution for you right now. All right, guys, so the network embeds. Basically, let me go through from the beginning again. I started to build on the presentation slide that we had from the other day when I introduced initially the network embed, so I've kind of upgraded that. Okay, if you want to get a link to this particular, wrong button there. If you want to get a link to this presentation, I'll give it to you now in the chat box. And you can sort of follow along if you want, and you can maybe think up some questions for the end. Okay, so there's a link in here for the Google Doc. Okay, so basically what we're doing with these is just video embeds. Okay, we're not doing uploads. We tried to do uploads initially, but it was never going to work, and the network embeds is far better for us. Now we're going to have some issues as we go forward, as we as we sort of build this out, because it's not a typical kind of network. And because we're using things like video embeds and we're using massive amounts of users with massive amounts of account creation, we're getting some issues from time to time in the server. I know that Todd Spears has been working to try and find, a solution for some issues that we've been having with posting, and that's really coming down to the amount of accounts being created. That's really what it's come down to, the amount of accounts being created, not necessarily the video embeds. Okay, so it's not the size of the gigabytes that we got or anything like that. It's more to do with the amount of accounts is just permanently getting hammered for the account creation, which is affecting what they call the MySQL or something like that. Well, all a little bit technical for me, but so it's not unusual for us, and we should expect to find some issues like that going forward, but we can always try and find a solution as quickly as possible to, okay. So again, this is really not typical of a normal network. So the rules and the best practices we can try and apply as best as we can. But because we're using video sharing sites, it's completely different, because it's not like it's not like we're building on top of WordPress. Okay, we're building on video sharing sites. It's perfectly normal to expect to have high volume of videos being created in these kind of sites. Okay, it's perfectly normal to see a high volume of content being posted on a continuous basis. Okay, because of the type of site that it is. Okay, later what we're going to do, and I'll talk a little bit later in a few slides, in a couple of slides, how we're going to introduce some Web 2.0 networks that are our own networks. Okay, our own sites not the established ones, but we're going to work in conjunction with some established sites, even in the private networks area. Okay, so I'll explain that in just a few minutes as well. Okay, so when we're building these network sites, what we need to think about is the best practices, the strategies that we can use safely, so that we're not going to affect anything that we're doing. Okay, and the obvious answer is to use well, two things we need to use here. We need to be using it as a tiered linking strategy. Okay, so this is going to be second tier at best. Okay, at best. So what we've done in here, if you look inside the network strategy when we built it out, what we decided was we would keep this import from YouTube in here. That wasn't lazy. That was actually put in there. It was already in for the video Synd Alpha tab up here, and it was already added into the Web 2.0 as well. They were deliberately kept into the Web 2.0 and the network embeds so that we could do tiered linking in a very, very safe way. Okay, it's deliberately put in there. It wasn't lazy that we didn't take it out. It was deliberately kept in there. Okay, so if you're using this, and a lot of people will because it's just easy to do, okay, it means that your YouTube videos will become tier 1. Okay, and we all know that YouTube can take a lot of hits as far as, you know, massive backlinks and the velocity of backlinks. So it's been kept in there deliberately, and your YouTube video will have the links to your money site. Okay, that way we are perfectly safe in everything that we do with it. Okay, so that's the best practice number 1 that we really need to take into account, and that way we can get the maximum benefit from it. Now the second thing is that these networks, these sites that we're working with, they are perfect for us to do the long tail strategy. And the long tail strategy being the 3 keyword elements, which I don't want to dig into so deeply again today, because we seem to dig into that, you know, almost on a weekly basis, and most people should be familiar with it by now. But because it's our own sites, and we should expect to be able to get 100% success rate, even if we're getting some failures right now, it's something that we're just, you know, we will adapt and we will fix. Eventually, we will have 100% success rate. That gives us that opportunity that we can use that long tail strategy really effectively. Okay, so that's the sort of best practices that you need to keep in mind going forward. Use the tiered linking and use the long tail strategy to get the best out of the tiered linking. And the reason for that is because when you are going after so many different variations of the keywords, okay, and that nobody else is really able to compete with you for, because they don't have the same resources or knowledge or whatever, it means these sites will start to rank in their own right for multiple keywords. Okay, two things happen then. We're building a little bit more authority into these sites. Secondly, is that we can use these sites to be able to rank for, you know, keyword phrases that nobody else is competing for. At the same time, you'll be getting backlinks from page 1 ranking pieces of content as well. Okay, so it's just going to be, it's sort of compounds, the authority compounds as we go forward. Okay, now what I said at the beginning is we would do these networks in clusters, and the clusters being between 30 and 80 sites, I think I said. Right now, I believe we're something like 65 sites that we've got, or that we are coding. I know that I bought something like 65 different domains, and I keep buying more and more domains every day, even if it's just a few. I think yesterday I may have bought another 7, and we will keep that going. And what we will eventually come up with is a mix of video sharing sites and what I'm calling blog 2.0 sites, just because I don't have a better name for them. And what they are is a script that we found, which is a very good script. It's a high quality script. It's a sort of combination between a video sharing site script and the ability to post with text and images as well. Okay, it is actually a video sharing site script with an article sort of area in it. So that's what we will be using as well. That will give us a little bit more sort of flexibility in the way that we can use that, and then that introduces us to more strategies as well, where we can interchange images, and we can spin text a lot more, and we can do a lot more stuff with it, rather than just a plain network, a sort of embeds where we're taking you know, a video from YouTube and it's just that one video going round and round. What we can do then is we can maybe interchange videos and images, but that would probably have to come in a separate tab, even if we're using the same sites for that one. Okay. So basically that's the way that we're approaching it right now, and that's the things that we need to remember going forward. So let's dig in a little bit deeper. And if anybody's not got video Synd Alpha or the private networks OTO, I'll put the links in there anyway for you. Okay, I'm not doing any, it's not a sales webinar, just put them in there so that if people ask, it's there and we don't have to go fumbling about trying to find it. Okay. So right now we've got, I think, I don't remember how many we've got coded there, but I know that we've got 65 sites, 65 domains that we bought. Okay, now but I will be buying more up to about 80 initially, and then we're just going to stop and we're going to figure out the best ways of being able to get the best out of the network. Okay, it's kind of been like a race for me over the last few days to get as many domains as I could, but getting the domains was not that particularly difficult. It's just making sure that they were spam free. We weren't really looking for massive amounts of domain authority. We were just looking for some with some backlinks, with some edge, and that was spam free. And that's basically took up the best part of my week for the last few days anyway. So ideally the best way that we can use this is with all the syndication being embeds, which we know about, and to use one video embed per campaign. And what I mean by that is that we've got choices in here right now, and I don't want to take the choices away. I never want to take the choices away. I want to give people the options that they can go and create their own strategies and things. But what I suggest ideally is that we add just one video in here. Hold on, let me see, I've got something stuck here. Yeah, we're just adding one video at a time in here per campaign. The reason for that is because it will just be so much easier. The whole strategy is really based around getting your video, your most important videos embedded. Okay, even if you've got links in a third tier to your money site, it doesn't mean that you cannot use a video that is actually your sort of money URL video, because all we're doing here is embeds. So let me explain that properly so that you don't get confused. We can use this as a second and third tier syndication. We can use a video that is from your first tier syndication, as in like a YouTube link will, or even a money URL. For example, if I've got a sales page video for Video Synd Alpha, for example, I can still use that video embed from YouTube, which is essentially like a money URL. It's got a link in there that goes to the sales page, obviously, which is a real money URL, but in a sense, it's like a video money URL. That's the main one that I'm trying to get all the backlinks to come into. And that's the one that we will actually want to get embedded. Okay, the strategy is, first of all, that we embed that video in as many places as possible. That helps it to rank in Google. Okay, as as we mentioned before, there's some people, very, very well-known marketers who are SEO people who basically use just that one strategy for ranking videos. Okay, it's just all about video embeds. So what we're doing is we're taking this video and we're putting it around as many of these Web 2.0 sites in a campaign. Okay, we can go through 60 or 80 or whatever we got in there. We're getting initial embeds with all of those. Now, if we multiply it by doing the long tail strategy, then what we're doing is we're putting what is equivalent, in my mind, this is where I look at it, it's equivalent in my mind of having different anchor text. If you think about SEO the way that I see it, okay, the most important thing in SEO is the title. Okay, in any piece of content, the most important thing in SEO is your title. Okay, that's the most important thing. It's the number one thing that Google will look at to find out what your video is about, your title. Okay, the second thing could be anchor text, or it used to be anchor text when we were doing the exact sort of match anchor text kind of stuff, but the title was always the most important thing. Okay, now if you take that into consideration when we're using that long tail syndication strategy, then we can think about the titles almost like anchor text. Almost like anchor text. You've got to think about the different variations that we can use with it. You've got to think about the different variations of the keywords that we've got in there that is in relation to the main keywords that we want to rank for. Okay, so if we're taking a video embed that is from a URL in YouTube, okay, but what we're doing then is we're able to put in our own titles in here, then we can think about these titles almost like anchor text. Okay, it's the same kind of thought process. I'll come back to this a little bit later. It's something I'm going to ask about when we get to question time, so that people can fully understand what I'm trying to get at here. Okay, so it's really, really important for us to be able to use that strategy for the 3 keyword elements in here. in my opinion, I think this is key for making this work really, really, really well for us, okay? Because if we got that 100% success rate in posting and we're able to do this, then it means that we can do really tightly grouped campaigns that would almost be similar to like an AdWords kind of keyword group, okay? That is compared to, that is really very, very relevant to a particular seed keyword that we want to rank for, okay? That is the way that we can tell Google that this is what that piece of content is about. This is what that video embed is all about, okay? And that way that we can tell Google this is, this is the topic of this video. This is what you should be ranking us for, okay? Hope that makes sense. All right, we come back over here. Robert, are you back yet? I think probably not. I think he's still to come in. I just want to check people didn't have any questions before I went forward. But anyway, let's just carry on. So that's the whole idea of using the one embed per campaign. So you're going to use your best video that you want to rank for, okay? The video that would be like your money URL, but you're going to have links from the third tier going over here as well, okay? So you'll have a link into tier to your tier 1 videos, which can be for the YouTube links as well, okay? So if you're doing the campaigns like I did in the case study, the original case study, and we'll be doing another one this week. I think John is working on one too, and I will do one as well. So the original strategy was that we would go in and use the tube link rules, okay? That would have a link to a money site. Okay, so we would make a link rule, maybe about 5 or 10 videos, whatever you want to do here. It's all the same video, just put into different multi-channel accounts. That has a link to your money URL. And then we go into the video Synd Alpha tab, okay, and we go into the videos over here. And when we get into the videos here, we can pull in, again, from the YouTube link rules, okay. So when we come into the network embeds, those two should have happened already, ideally, okay. And then when we come into the network embeds, we are linking to this tube link rule as well, which will have the link to the money URL. Now, the way that I was doing this when I did the case study is I uploaded one video to my main channel first. That one video, I had a link to within this tube networks, the tube link rules. They were all linking to that one video. Okay, so the first video I uploaded went into my main channel. I took the URL from that. It became the money URL when I did the tube link rules. Okay, that was a money URL for the tube link rules. Hope that's making sense. So by the time we come back up here into the network embeds, we're using that video that we uploaded, and it's going to have a link going to the tier 1, which is a link going back to that video again, the same video that we're distributing. Okay, I hope this is clear. I hope this is really obvious for people, because I don't know how to make it any sort of simpler without perhaps I should have done a mind map of it. Okay, so your original video that you uploaded to YouTube is the one that we're embedding, okay? And it's giving the link to the tier 1, which in turn is linking to the same video again, okay? We'll come back to that a little bit later. Okay, Robert, are you back yet now? No, I don't think so, okay. Okay, so later what we're going to do, if we keep growing as far as, the numbers for the network embeds, is that we will do a maximum of 200 people per group of sites. Okay, so that means if we've got 80 sites right now, then anybody that's coming in above 200 people, we will start to put into another group of 80 sites, okay? What we will do then, obviously, is we won't have 80 people, we won't have 200 people in the 80 sites and one person, or between 1 and 10 as we start to grow the next one. We'll just divide them equally at that particular point, okay? So we'll keep building these networks out, and hopefully we can later get into some categorization of sites as well, which I think is really, really important, so that when you're choosing a category that you want to post to, we can do a lot of stuff in the background where we can start to hide the sites as well, which I feel is important going forward as we get bigger. I think right now when we've got, not so many users, even when it's less than 200, it's not going to cause any kind of major ripple in the SEO world, so that that everybody wants to find what we're doing. Google's really offended by what we're doing, etc. I think it's just too small right now. But as we get bigger and bigger, then we need to start to think about how we hide the sites as well. So that's the way that we're planning to do that going forward, is by categorizing. And when we're categorizing, you will see some sites that we're posting to, and some sites will show inside your software for the posted URLs, and there will be other sites that are hidden in the background that people actually won't see, except for when they go and do some kind of crawling to get results, etc. But if we do that, we will do the indexing for those sites that we're hiding. Okay, just important going forward so that we can have that kind of exclusivity and that we can protect the network as well. Okay. Another thing that we might do as well is to add an extra sort of category with an extra layer, sorry, with categories using Web 2.0 sites that are established Web 2.0 sites. We've got John is able to John has a partner who is able to go and scrape for high PR Web 2.0 sites. I don't know which tool he's using, maybe Lazarus or something else. With that ability to be able to do that really quickly, what we can do is almost change this out on a daily basis if we do this. And that means that we can use this as an extra buffer. So if we're using established Web 2.0 sites, we can use some of those as a sort of focal point for these network embeds as well. Almost like a buffer kind of in between the tier 1 and your money URL. Okay, that might sound complicated, but it's really, really simple. What we would do then is we would do the network embeds, and we would put in there at that point the ability to post into a Web 2.0 established site. Okay, and it could be all Tumblr accounts, it could be all WordPress accounts. We don't really know yet until we start to do it, but that would give us some high PR in between as well, so we could have some high PR links. But I will get into that much, much deeper later when we actually get to start using it, so that I can make people understand exactly what we're doing, and it will be there as an option, not as a definite, thing that will happen. It will be something you just have to choose and checkbox that you wanted to use. Okay, so let's jump into the next slide. Actually, let me see if we've got some questions before we go forward. So I've got a feeling I can just sense I've confused people here. Okay, let me move this over. Oh, I clicked on a video there when I was trying to expand it. Let's see the questions coming in here. Let me just see if I can sort this out by sort of chronological time stamp here. Okay, now I can see it. Put a link to the slides. The slides link is there. Mind map would be good. Yeah, I should have done a mind map. Apologies for that. Okay, Lewis, need a mind map. Yeah, okay, we will do a mind map. What I would do with this one, we will put it inside the AnthonyHayes.me blog. Okay, I'll get it in there within the next 24 hours with a mind map. There's nothing really complicated here, guys. Really, really nothing complicated. It's just when I'm trying to explain it, and when that video embed is actually coming back around in itself, because the one that we're linking to, ultimately, as the money URL, is the video that you're distributing. It's the same video. Okay, it's just the way that we're using it. Okay. Looking for a scraper which can harvest titles from Google, Bing, and Yahoo searches. There's multiple keywords and keyword tools that can do that, Ganti. Have a look at Keyword Ignition from Lisa Allen. That one might help you. Okay. Okay. Just have a look. You don't need to buy from Myling, Ganti. Just have a look for Keyword Ignition. I think that you'll find that does pretty much what you're looking for. Scott saying categories would be awesome. Yeah, we need to get there, Scott. It has to get there. It's building blocks right now. First of all, we need to get out to about 80 sites, and then we need to start to categorize, and we need to start hiding URLs at some point as well. Okay. What is the link to buy video Synd Alpha? It's in I put it inside the chat here. You see the chat box. I put a link to this PowerPoint thing, and you will see in the PowerPoint links on the first slide. Okay. Lewis, he should really create a graphic to help us all understand the concepts. He always takes is deep into the weeds and these trainings and gets hard to follow very quickly. Okay. He apparently forgets his understanding of what he's created is far superior to ours. Okay, fair enough. Right. If you think about it, right, I've got a video. Let me come back. I'm going to try and make this really, really, really clear. So let me come back in here. Let me see if I've got the same one as I had before. So I've got a video that I've embedded. Okay, I've got one video here that I've used for YouTube link posts. This is where I start. If you go back to the beginning with the case study that I did originally, the very first case study that's inside the members area, you will see that I created one video and you know, I recorded, it was a 1 minute video, 1 minute 15 seconds or something like that. I put it onto my main YouTube channel. That's the one I put all my training videos on. Okay, it's a PR4 channel or something like that. I put it in there, and it's already got some network embeds working with it. It's already got some IFTTT attached to it. Okay, that is my main channel. I uploaded that video to that channel. That is the video that ultimately I wanted to rank. That is the video ultimately did rank because of the way I did this. Okay, some people, when they're doing this, they want to rank for multiple videos on page one. I rather rank for one video on page one that is a very high quality sort of marketing video that is able to tell people the marketing message that I want to get across and be able to just get the click basically to go to wherever the ultimate money URL is, which is usually a sales page or a landing page. Okay, so what I did is I created a video in YouTube and put it onto my main YouTube channel. Then I took the same video, and basically then could have been any video after that, and what I did is I link to that video inside the money URL. So inside here, for example, if I can open this, if it lets me open it, because it's been through a few updates and pulled back in again, so it's not letting me open this. But if I look in the description in here, it's going to have a link to that original video that I uploaded into my main channel. Okay, Johnson here will do a mind map. Right. So with that original video that I put into my main YouTube channel, I've got a link in all of these YouTube link videos here. It's going to that one video that I uploaded originally into my main channel. Now when I'm doing the network embeds, I'm taking the same video that I'm linking to here. I'm taking the same video that I put on my main channel. Okay, the one that's attached to the network embeds, the one that's on my main channel, the one that I've got IFTTT attached to on my main channel. I've got about 20 IFTTT accounts attached to my main channel, possibly more by now, I can't remember. Okay, so that same video is what I'm using for the network embeds. That's the one that I want to get embedded. That is my money URL as far as being the most important video that I've got. Okay, so you've got to understand that the most important video that you started off with, the one that you recorded and you put on your main channel, the one that you want to get ranking, is the one that you're going to use in the network embeds. Okay, but the difference is when you go into the network embeds, although you're embedding that original video, you're able to come in here and you're able to use a long tail send strategy with this. You're able to use a different title and a different description. So it's not just embedding the same video with the same title and the same description. We are changing the title, we are changing the description. This gives us the opportunity to use the long tail syndication strategy, which gives us the ability then to use the titles almost like anchor text was used before. Okay, think about it like that. This is the way that I see it. Okay, if you can see it like this, you'll understand the power of this whole strategy. Okay, the key is in the title. If we're using that long tail strategy where we're using the keywords that Google has given us in the keyword planner that is related to that seed keyword, then we're giving Google back a whole bunch of content with links, with a money URL embedded, and with a link to a money URL inside this tiered system. Okay. Now, if when we are doing that, we're embedding that video with these different titles, and we're using that same video that we used originally that we uploaded, and we pull in here a link into the tier 1, which is linking to that video. You see what I mean? So what I'm doing then is I'm linking to the YouTube link wheels that are linking to the same video that I'm distributing. I hope that's making sense. It's really not that difficult. It's just using the same video, but we're going round in a circle in the same way as that we're actually linking back to it from the same video that we are embedding. Okay, that's the way that we're using it. Okay, let me see if anybody's really still confused with that one. Okay, but video Synd Alpha, but where's the members area? Tony is talking about. What's the web address? Go to videosyndalpha.com/downloads, Jim, and you will be able to get in there. Okay, Rui can now understand, and Lewis is saying it makes sense. Okay, let's see if we got any other questions, guys, or do you want me just to kick on? Let's just click on anyway. Okay, so going forward, this is what I see happening right now. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to sort of minimize how we're using it. And what I mean by minimize them is like really work with very, very tight sort of groups of keywords. Okay, so if I'm doing the network embeds, and if I'm doing the long tail strategy with the network embeds, and if I've got something like, I don't know, say 25 modifiers and even 5 keywords or 50 keywords, or you got 30 locations or 300 locations, it just runs into millions by the time you do the calculation, because it's always going to be the amount of modifiers times the amount of keywords times the amount of location or brand name or whatever you're using for that last sort of keyword element. Okay, when we're doing that, it just gets too big. It gets far, far too big, and it's going to keep this running far too long as well. And it's taking the same video and it's just going round and round in circles with the same video again and again. I don't think we need to do that so much with the video. I don't think it needs like, hundreds of thousands of embeds. I really don't. I think what really matters here is the title. And I keep coming back to the title, because if we're using the title like anchor text, if you can see it that way, then we should have enough power there if we can keep it really, really tightly gripped. So what I'm coming around to here is that we should be using sort of smaller amounts of numbers of embeds with each campaign. So maybe if we capped it to sort of 10 times 10 times 10, you would have a maximum of 1,000 embeds for a campaign. Okay, that maximum 1,000 embeds can be really, really very, very highly targeted. If I go in here into the tool, and I go into the long tail syndication section in here, and you can see in here, let me see if I can find it better. Okay, so this one's got 3 times 3 times 3, which is not that many. Okay, so if I got in here, say for example 10 times 10 times 10, that's going to give us 1,000. That can be really highly targeted. I mean, really, really, really highly targeted, because it can be really compounded into what we can work with in a very tight group of, as far as the topic is concerned. If I go into the dentist analogy, the dentist one that we had in here, we could have dentist singular, we can have dentist plural. Okay, we can have things like emergency, 24-hour, affordable. We can put in here children's. We can put in here all these kind of keywords that are really, really targeted for that particular kind. Okay, now what if I take this into something that is, a sort of sub niche of dentist? What if I take this into things like teeth whitening? What if I take this into some things like cosmetic dentist? So I would have, maybe 5 or 10 keywords in here that would be just really tightly knit into that sub niche. Okay, and it's not that hard to be able to do 10 and 10 and 10, but it doesn't have to be maximum 10. It doesn't have to be, you have to work to the maximum anyway. If I've only got 6 and 4 and 7, it's still fine. Okay, as long as it's really, really highly targeted. And the key to it all, the key to the success of it all then is the titles. It's when you're coming up with these titles. So if I'm doing things like that, then I've got emergency dentist, Kensington, London, then I've got children's dentist, Kensington, London. It's just really highly targeted. It's really focused. And that way, what we're doing is we're telling Google, this piece of content is all focused around that one subject, around that one area, around that main seed keyword that you have given as a keyword that is related to. Okay, so we're just going back in Google. We're giving Google exactly what it's giving us to work with. Okay, let's see if we get any other questions at that point, because I've got a feeling, again, I've confused people. Can you send out recording? Yeah, Christian, we will have a recording. Okay, and we'll have some mind maps as well. Where can we find the Sunday webinar recordings? And we will have recordings inside the Facebook groups. I didn't put recordings for the last couple of weeks in the membership area, but they've been added to on my YouTube channel. So if you go over to youtube.com/user/kissim.org, it's kissim.org. Okay, we used to have a website called kissim.org. If you go and have a look there, and you will find a playlist there called Video Synd Alpha. They always go into that playlist for Video Synd Alpha. So if you find my main channel, then click on playlist, you'll find one at the top called Video Synd Alpha, and you will find the replays there. We're redoing the membership area this week. I think Denise is helping us with that, and we will make it a lot nicer, a lot clearer, and very, very easy to read. And you will see in each sort of page that we put in there some information about what you should learn in the video and all that kind of thing. And I know that Elaine has done transcriptions of everything with some screenshots as well, and those will be underneath the videos as well. So it will be much nicer by this time next week, hopefully, and a lot easier for people to follow and get some additional information. Okay. So it's an easy automation to build these long tail free parts. No, and there shouldn't be, Nija, no, there shouldn't be. What you need to do is to do the way that I do it. Otherwise, it's not going to get done properly. There's not a tool can do this for you. There probably is, and you probably could create it, but it's not going to be as accurate. You really need to be able to see the power of what we're doing here and appreciate what we're doing here to really grasp what we've got. And if you watch last Sunday's webinar, where we talked about the long tail Synd strategy, you will understand why. Because if the more manual you do this, the better it's going to be. Okay, I'm just going to see. Yeah, I think it was this one that we did last week, the online marketing packages from the Keyword Planner. If I had another tab in here. No, not that one. I'll show in just a second when I can find it. Okay, guys, keep your questions coming in. I'll check them in a second. Trying to find my keywords in here. Yeah, MKL. Modifier keywords locations. Only the MKL has disappeared, I think. No, it's not. Right, okay, so in here, what we did is started with the keyword. Okay, so this one is for local marketing packages, for example. And you can see that Google gives us 800 results back. Okay, and I've gone through all of those. Every single one of those with a notepad, okay, like this. And I've gone through and I started from the top. Let me just take this one down. That's another one that should be open. Just open a new one. So I've started from the top here and I just write down things, that I'm saying. So I've got words like ideas. That is a modifier of some sort, okay. So if I go down a little bit further, I can see words like plan. I can see words like strategy. Okay, and I'm just going through all of this. And then what I've done afterwards is I've gone into these sections here, made a section for modifier for keywords and what we call PBOL, that's product, brand, or location. Okay, and basically what I've done is I've assigned each one of these. So I'll just copy and paste, 3 or 4 at a time, say, okay, these are modifiers, these are keywords, and these are locations or brand names or whatever, or the third element, okay? And basically that's the way I've done it. The reason for that is, the reason why it can't be automated is because you won't get accurate like this. You've got to use some kind of common sense in here so that you can get it as good as possible. And then from there, then we can really get into a sort of very, very, very sort of tight-knit grouping, okay? Almost like AdWords groups, keyword groups. And we can get really, really tight with that, and we can just build a sort of smaller campaigns but highly focused campaigns, which is going to benefit us better for ranking. Okay, let's see if we've got more questions here. Okay, so network embed links with different titles, etc. points to link below videos that points to the main money video that finally points to the money page. Is that correct? Yeah, Tony, that's correct, but we're using the money video for the embed in the network embeds. Okay, so we're actually coming back around in itself. We're using the same piece of content to backlink to itself, basically. Okay, in a roundabout way. How do you limit the number of embeds? The number of embeds is limited if you're using the long tail strategy. Okay, so if I've got 5 times 5 times 5 for the modifier and the keywords and the location here, that's a maximum of 125 combinations. Okay, if I've got 5 modifiers, 5 keywords, and 5 locations, I can only have a possible 125 combinations. Okay, if I have 10 times 10 times 10, I can have a possible 1,000. That's how you limit it. And it doesn't have to be that you take it to the max. If we do 10 times 10 times 10 as a maximum that we allow, technically, if we make the software, it doesn't allow more than that. You don't have to be exactly on the max of those. You might only have 7 really sort of highly targeted modifiers. You can see here from all of those 800 keywords, I've only got 3 keywords in here. Okay, And that was really strange for me. I've never seen that before, but for that particular project, that was the way it worked. It worked out. That's why you can't have a tool do this, because it needs your own common sense in there, okay? So, that's all I got from this, only 3 keywords, which was really, really surprising. But the amount of different variations of these modifiers for the beginning and the end was a lot more than I expected, okay? So in the end, I've got a total of 11,352 total combinations here, which I'm not going to run in one campaign. I don't want to run in one campaign. What I want to do is get really highly focused with the campaign. So if I've only got, 7 modifiers and 3 keywords and 10 of the end one here, then that's fine if that's all that really makes sense, if that's what really, really works, if that's what will tell Google what that piece of content is about. That's all I need to use then. I don't want to sort of max out 10 times 10 times 10 just because, I technically can. I want to use exactly what is relevant and nothing else, okay? And if that comes to more than 10 times 10 times 10, then I might have to do 2 runs of it, okay? Two different campaigns. It just has to be like that because it's the best way that we can control this. And I think it's going to be better for us going forward for both the network, for the integrity of the network, so that we don't keep getting repeated spammy looking videos coming up, which we're seeing at the moment a little bit, okay? So that we need to really just sort of tighten up with what we're allowing in there and just get people to run better campaigns, okay? If you're doing better quality campaigns, it's better for your results and it's better for the network as well, both, okay? Let's see. Okay, Christian Bernson, thank you. You're in the adult niche, Peter. Will I still be able to apply the same strategy? And we're not going. I don't think we're going to be allowing adult videos in these networks, Peter. It depends on which way you're using it. You would be better to use the Web 2 syndication strategy for that and see if those Web 2.0 sites allow you to do that. I don't think we can do that with the private networks. I think that just puts everybody else's investment at risk if we allow that. Okay. But if you can do it, if you can get away with it with the Web 2.0 sites, then that would be good for you. What we will introduce later is the ability to do sort of bespoke networks built just for you. There'll be a cost to it, of course, cost per site that we add in there, that we code in there for you, and we will just give you like an import file that you can use, for example, for your own sites. And that way you could maybe do it. But at the moment, I don't think we're going to allow adult in there. We will have to moderate that so that we don't have that happening, because it's just going to screw up everybody else's investment if we do. Okay. Should we be drip feeding VSA embeds? It's a good question, Scott. The thing is with this, it's not like a typical network. It's not like a WordPress type of network. It's just completely different. But we have got in here the ability that we can do that with the scheduling and stuff like that. I just don't know how. Hold on a second. Let me see. Oh, here we go. If we go in here. So if I go and add a video that we have in, we could build in here something like a time delay or something like that. But we do have in here in the options at the back, we've got some scheduling that we can add. Okay. So you can put it in for date and time, etc. Let me look into that. I'm not sure that we need it, but it should be there as an option that we can use better. Maybe I've just got to work with this schedule project a little bit better so that we can do drip feeding in a way that's going to be just simple as a checkbox that you want to spread it over 30 days or 20 days or something like that. Okay, we'll have a look at that over the next couple of weeks. Okay. So we don't have any more new questions yet. Is there a way to schedule accelerating? Or you want to do the embeds faster, then you just do it all at one time without the scheduling. You don't need them to use the scheduling, you just hit them at one time if you want to do it faster. Okay, let me come back over to okay, so what we got as well inside here, we've still got the same choices for some strategies within the strategy as well. So you can use link rules, you can use silos, and you can use the syndication. So, or just plain syndication, sorry. So we come over to the options here, you've still got those options here, and a lot of it happens just with this one checkbox here. So if you're putting what it says make link rule, it's not necessarily accurately going to be a link rule just by checking this. If you choose to link to the last URL, but you don't put something in the money URL, then you're creating what is a silo. Okay. When you put a link in the money URL, you're creating a link rule if you have this one checked. If you don't have this one checked, but you put something in the money URL, you have just a plain syndication going on. Okay. And that's the way that works. Okay. So you've got 3 options, and most of them are affected by what you choose with this one. Okay. So let me just cover it again. If you checkbox this and you've got a money URL in the money URL tab, you're creating a link rule. The reason why is you're linking back to the last URL, and every one of those links that you're creating, every one of those embeds you're creating is linking to the money URL as well. Okay, so that's what we're calling a link rule. Just go around in a wheel. Okay. If you take that off and you've got a link just to your money URL, there's no link rule going on, there's no silo. You need this to be able to create a silo. You need this to be able to create a link rule. So what is the difference with the silo and a link rule? Well, a silo will link back to the previous URL, but it's not going to be linking to the money URL like everyone else. Okay, it's not going to have every single piece of content linking to the money URL. Okay, but you can still use it in that way because we're using the money URL for the embeds initially. Okay, so it kind of is anyway. It's kind of a natural link rule that way. So that's how we use that. That's how that works. Okay. So you've always got those 3 options, and those 3 options will always be there for you to choose. Okay. It's worth experimenting with it, see what works best. I know that John has been experimenting with silos in the past week. I think he's been getting good results, and I think in his case study he's going to cover that kind of stuff as well. Okay. So what we got going forward is I'm going to introduce an extra tier option. Okay, that might not be in the next sort of week or 2, but it's something that is definitely going to be happening at some point, where we can do like a sort of 3rd tier link. Okay, now that can come in 2 different ways. That can come from doing those sort of authority Web 2.0 sites, which would be authority Web 2.0 accounts that we've got. So there'd be high PR kind of accounts that we have scraped, basically, and we just keep changing those really, really fast. So we might use them for a day and change them in the next day to a different set of accounts within those sites. Okay, and that way we can just really get a lot of value from this. That's what I see going forward with this. And we can also introduce a sort of private blogging option as well, where you can get your own sites. Okay, that way we can do you know, really highly focused. If you want to do just in your own niche, like this, like I can't remember the name, who wanted to do the adult niche. I think Peter. Okay. So that's the way I see things going forward. I would love to be able to put into this sort of high PR Web 2.0 sites that we can use as a sort of tier 1, and that would be really, really, really powerful. Because if we got that as a tier 1, then we're able to do some really, really impressive strategies that you wouldn't even imagine at this point, and I'm not even going to dig into, because if you get confused with what you're saying just now, I'm just going to confuse you anymore. I'll confuse you more if I do. Okay, so let's see if we've got any more questions, and I think we can probably wrap up in about 15-20 minutes. Okay.
Looks like I'm back, Tony.
Yeah, I can hear you in the background there. Did you go to Starbucks? Okay. Which indexing service delivers the most reliable results? You know, I haven't been testing it myself. I really haven't been. Maybe you guys can give us some feedback on that. If anybody else wants to give feedback on what indexing service has been getting the most reliable results, that would be really appreciated. If you can let us know in the questions in here, and we can tell everybody else what you're finding. Scott, I've got lots of domains I bought and not used yet. Is there a strategy to create WordPress video sites and these domains for my own use? We could introduce at some point, Scott, that you can add your own domains, and it might be just that we can do it with one particular platform, like WordPress, for example. It's not something I would want to get to make too overcomplicated for us from the programming side, but we could introduce it for maybe for WordPress, for example, and do it that way. Okay, or even Blogger, you could just your domains on those as well. Okay, let me think about it. It's something in the back of my mind. Tony Peacock asking, can we have an option to choose what you want to refresh and reset? Okay, where? I don't know. You need to be a little bit more specific, Tony. I'll look into that for you. T.R. Goodman saying, thanks for getting up early. Yeah, you were lucky. You got me up today, actually. I woke up at 2 o'clock. Gante Social Robot Pro. I sent an email and I promoted that, and you know what? I sold 3 copies. We had 1,300 people open the email, and I sold 3 copies. So, it's not my tool. I did recommend it. I thought it's a good enough tool as sort of an extra additional strategy. But it's not to replace anything. It's just as an sort of extra that you can use. Those kinds of sites that you will find it's working with, like Plague and stuff like that, you will see those time and time again if you reverse engineer people who are ranking consistently in every sort of major product launch. You will see the same people at the top of YouTube promoting. If you do some reverse engineering on those people, they're all using those kinds of sites. So it does work. It does work for video. I did notice that they had some emails coming out like we ranked in 17 days. And John mentioned to me, well, why they mentioned that when we can rank in 10 minutes with ours? And it's true. And plus, if you have a look in the Facebook group, I think it was Musa that was ranking within 23 hours. He showed a screenshot within 23 hours, and he made 3 sales as well for launch tracking. He had made 3 sales, and he was ranking, I think, three times on page 1 using VSA. Okay. Don't promote others' products. Sometimes, Tony, you do it because you want to get something coming back whenever I've got a promotion as well, but it's not a sort of reciprocation, scratch my back kind of thing. You will notice I don't mail that many promos. I only mail stuff that I really think is useful, stuff that I would buy myself. And actually the stuff I buy myself I don't even mail because I don't think it's targeted enough for SEO, because I'm buying a lot more marketing and Facebook stuff these days as well. Okay. Link wheel upload crashes several times. Okay. Created 50 videos for link wheel. Hard disk almost full. Why do you need 50 videos for link wheel? Where were you putting your link wheel, Mijay? Were you putting it into one YouTube account, or were you using 50 videos to go around all of these accounts? That's what I need to know, and maybe I would be able to advise you. I know that John was doing that. He was doing multiple videos into one YouTube account. But if you're doing, across multiple different accounts, you can do it with just one video. You don't need 50 videos because you're just going to be changing those sort of titles, etc. anyway. Okay. Status with search and click. We're trying to get there. We had some problems with the email servers, and we're trying to get VSA stabilized. As soon as that is done, we'll get search and click fixed. Okay, apologies for delaying that, but we've got, just sort of massive usage of the video Synd Alpha right now. It's one main coder that we're using, that we're working with. It created all of these desktop tools. So as soon as we can get video Synd Alpha stabilized, we'll get straight into that. And apologies for the delay, but we've just got to prioritize right now, unfortunately. Okay. Christine asking, is this a theoretical system, or is it actually available? Well, we've been using it for the last week or so, Christine. And why you're not giving a link to buy? Well, I've given you this PowerPoint thing here. I've given you a link to that Google Doc, which in the first slide I told you has got a link for people who don't have video Synd Alpha or the private networks. Okay, so we covered that in the very beginning of the webinar. You can go and get that if you want to. Okay. Peter saying, should I use my own video or create a video or use someone else's video? Another one, when Musa did the one during the week that he's got in the Facebook group that he made some sales with, I think it was for Fresh Store Builder. I think you find he's got 3 videos on the first page, and he took the demo video or something. He took it from the Fresh Store Builder website, I think, their sales page or something like that, or maybe their JV page. You can always find really good videos in JV pages as well. You might find, if you go and start looking at people's JV pages when you've got big launches coming up, you can get a huge amount of information there that other people are not using. We'll do launch tracking next week, and we'll cover that kind of stuff. But that's a great place to get some great resources. Okay. What happens to the link wheel on failed accounts? 1 second, Tony. The last URL is going to be the one that we link to in the link wheel. Okay, the last successfully posted URL. So if I've got, say, video 1, video 2, video 3, video 4, video 5, and only 3 of them get posted, then it can only post to the last successfully posted URL in the description. It can only post that link in the description for the last successfully posted URL, plus everybody has a link to the money URL as well. Okay. Let's see. Can you go over this part one more time, please? Checkbox and money URL. And Diane, yeah, I can do that quickly. So checkbox and money URL. I'll just go over here. If we get into videos, I'll open this up. Right, okay. In the description here is what is going to happen if is where the links are going to go if we use anything like a money URL up here. Okay, all we're doing is we're taking this money URL, we're putting it into the description of every single video. So every single video will have the same link in there if we're using a link rule. Okay, we need that money URL in there. Plus we need a link to the last successfully posted URL. We cannot put that link in here at the beginning because we don't know what it is yet until we actually post it. Okay. So what happens is when the software has made a successful post, it's going to grab the URL from that. It's going to wait until that it can grab that URL, and then it's going to put it in the description of the next video that it uploads or embeds. Okay, whether you're using video Synd Alpha for upload or whether you're using the Web 2 or the network embeds, it's going to wait, pull that successfully posted URL and post that into the description as well. So how this works, as far as the strategy is concerned. Okay, how this works is if I put in here to make a link wheel, that means that I'm going to have a link going to the last successfully posted URL. Now, whether that's a link wheel or not will depend whether you have used the money URL. Okay, whether you have used the money URL over here. If you don't use a money URL over here, it's still going to post to the last successfully posted link over here, which makes it a silo, okay, because you're linking back, they're all linking together, okay, almost like breadcrumbs in a website. That's how that works, okay. Robert, do you want to take some questions? I'll just grab a drink quickly.
Hi, Tony. Daniel Dean is asking if we put the link for the slides again in the chat box. Apparently a couple of people have missed it.
Okay.
And the last question, what is the best strategy to rank realtors for local video?
I would definitely say that the long-tail syndication strategy is better, but keep it really highly focused. The tighter focus you got it, the better results you're going to get. It's not about massive numbers, it's about the concentration of the right keywords that Google is giving us in sort of grouped campaigns. Okay, let's put this in here. So I've been trying to get across. I'll put it back in there again in the chat box. Okay. So anybody else is asking, Robert, maybe just copy from there and just reply to them in questions from that link.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, any more?
Okay, Peter Kitzman says, I'm also getting into the digital software niche as well as subscription education video sites. So should I be able to use one of the main videos, he says, for his video Synd Alpha campaigns?
Yes. Yeah, that's the whole point. That's what we've been talking about, especially with the network embeds. So you would put that video, that main video that you're using, the main promotional video, you put it onto your main YouTube channel. With your main YouTube channel, you want to have built up some networks, some tube networks, which are supporting sites, supporting YouTube channels that are saving the playlist from your main video. Okay, we covered that in the sort of webinar before, and there's some training on my blog as well about that. If you need some links for that, just ask in the Facebook group, and somebody will get them, or I will get them for you. Okay. So when you've put that video onto your own website, and you've done a tube link wheel or silos from YouTube, then you can do the video Synd Alpha tab, and plus you can do the network embeds. When you're using the network embeds, then you're going to embed that exact video that you put into your main YouTube channel. Okay. Link Indexer by Joshua. Joshua gave me access to it a while back, but I don't remember if we got API key. I need to talk to him and see if I can get an API key. If we can, then yeah, we can add that one. I'll talk to him tomorrow. I'll let him get over it. He's still in the bang in the middle of lunch. I don't want to disturb him right now.
Scott is asking if we're ranking for a local business like a roofer, and we go after long tail keywords where those links end up giving some good rankings for the more popular keywords.
Yeah, well, again, it's coming back to, let me come back over here. Like, I'm trying to explain this again a little bit better, maybe. I don't know. Okay, so these keywords here came from doing a seed keyword. Let me just go to the keyword planner. It will make so much more sense. Okay, let's go to Google Keyword Planner. What is your location? Scott, tell me your location, please. Hawaii, okay. So if I go in here, and I'm going to type in keywords like roofer. So I just take that one keyword right now, and I get keyword ideas. Okay, so we got these keyword groups here. We've got things like local roofer, roofing company, roofing contractors, etc., etc. So what I can do is I can open up one of these. I can just go back. Let me just go and do this from the beginning, so you can see exactly how we're doing it. And I'll give you, I'm coming back around to your question. I'm just trying to make more sense to you, and in a way that if you follow this, it will make a lot more sense. Okay, so look at these keyword groups first. Okay, so we've got local roofer, roofing company, etc. Okay, so we can put in here. I'm just doing this quickly, so I'll just put KML, keywords modifier location, for example. Okay, so we've got words like local. Nobody types in the word local, I don't think, anyway. My mouse is getting stuck. And we've got local roofer, roofing company. Okay. We've got roofer. And we've got company. Yeah. Let's come back again. And we can come down here and see words like contractors, jobs, find, flat. Okay. Find. Flat. Contractor, etc., etc. Okay, once you've got all those worked out, okay, what we can do is we can get really, really tight with those. Okay, what we're doing is with that one piece of content, we're taking the keywords that Google gave us. They have given us these keywords. This is what it's used. This is what it's telling us are the keywords that are related to that seed keyword that you want to be ranking for. Okay, all you've got to do at the end is add in your locations. Okay, you can use it like I've done, like a company and contractor. Okay, you can actually just put in here, instead of putting the company in here, you can put in here like roofer company, and you can put in here roofer contractor, for example. And then what you can do with this last one is you can put in your city. I don't know how to spell Hawaii, I think it's something like that. Okay, and you can put in different sort of sub areas of Hawaii, for example. So you can have it like that. And what's happening is you're taking that one piece of content, the same piece of content if you're doing the private network embeds, okay? You're embedding that one piece of content that you've got, and you're relating that piece of content almost like using an anchor text before, okay? Where your title is becoming as important as what your anchor text used to be, okay? The way you used to do the anchor text and stuff like that. We can't do anchor text with these sharing sites. What we can do is we can work with the titles in the same way, in the same kind of strategy, so that you're using the keywords that Google gave you that is related to that particular seed keyword, and you're just using the same piece of content. So Google is relating that piece of content every single time that you're using it to the titles that you've got there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's see if we've got some more. I need to grab a drink.
Tim is asking, have you ever used Animoto for video creation, or can you hook up with their API?
Animoto I used to use years ago, and I think they improved it, vastly improved it not that long ago, maybe a couple of years or so ago. I used to love the Animoto videos. At the time, they kind of got oversaturated because that was long before you had tools like Xblendio and Video FX and things like that. They did improve it. I know that they did improve it quite significantly. It's not a hard tool to work with as well. Working with the API, I'm not sure it's something we didn't think about. We actually have some code for our own video maker, but we never got the time to really dig into it properly and figure out how to make it simple to use. It was just a little bit complicated to use, and we had to put it on the shelf and come back to it later. And we never ever did get back to it, but I spent quite a significant amount of money on getting that code built. And it was kind of similar to some of the tools that you're seeing these days. It's something we'll pick up again sometime in the near future. But at the moment, I haven't got time to get in there. But Animoto could be a good option if they have an API. Thanks for the suggestion. We'll look at that. Okay.
Scott is asking, since there are so many keyword combos, would you set up multiple projects and run them at different times?
I would definitely set up multiple projects, and that's what we've been really talking about. It's the gist of what we've been talking about with the smaller campaigns, but really tightly focused campaigns. So going back to the dentist example, where you got dentists, and then I sent to you to go into sort of like cosmetic dentistry as an example, if you're going into a really sort of tight sub-niche, where you could be using things like teeth whitening and all the other stuff that's to do with cosmetic stuff. Cosmetic dentistry, then you're getting really highly focused again, and you can just do multiple smaller campaigns.
Leon is asking if you would mention how to use First Commenter.
Guys, sorry, I've been meaning to do that. There's two ways to use it. That's why the confusion, because there was two ways, and it really confused me as well. Okay. Let me do a video on this one today. I'll promise you I will get a video done on this one today, because I can't really do it live because I haven't used it yet on this particular machine. What I will do is get a video done today with it, and we can get that into the members area. We are building out, I mentioned earlier, we are building out a new sort of design in the members area where we can put in all the information that you're going to learn on every single video. So it makes perfect sense, and we've got basically what we got is some transcriptions of what's been done so far, but we're going to be doing new videos again with the new sort of interface and new designs that we got in here, because it looks completely different from when I did the original videos, and we always get some feedback saying it looks like a different tool. So they need to be done again, but we will put the transcriptions that is related to the previous videos in there since they've been done, and it took a lot of work to get those done. Okay, so the comments are, yeah, we'll do the video today.
Patrick is asking, so if we run a campaign with our money URL and it doesn't rank, can we run another campaign with the same money URL and the same keywords?
The same money URL, same keywords? I guess you could, yeah, but you would need to put them into different accounts. But you can use them in multiple ways. You can use the same, you've got multiple ways of using Video Synd Alpha. You can use for the video sharing sites, you can use for the Web 2.0 embeds, and you can use for the private networks as well. Plus you can use the bookmarking and the indexing to sort of use that long tail strategy as well, if that's what you want to do too. So you've got multiple ways of hitting this, multiple ways of using the tool. But you might want to explore those further before doing the same syndication and the same kind of sites. Again.
Several people have asked, are you going to be adding Link Indexer by Joshua Zamora?
I just covered that. If I can get the API from Joshua, I can't talk to him right now because he's in the middle of the launch, but I'll talk to him in a couple of days or so. See if we can get an API for it.
Okay, it looks like we've come to the end of the questions so far.
Okay. Yeah, okay, then unless we get any other further questions, we can just wrap up. But I hope that kind of makes a lot more sense for you for the network embeds and how we're using it. It's crucial that it's used with the long tail strategy as far as I'm concerned. Really highly focused. And it's probably likely that we will put some limitation in there for the amount of keywords and modifiers, etc. It's better for you and better for the whole network as a whole, and so that we don't see, repeated videos, 5 or 6 of the same video with different title on the same account. We need to be able to see a little bit more variation in that. That's the best way to do it. Okay, to get the best out of it.
Here's a question from Christian.
Uh-huh.
Would it be advantageous to extract audio from our videos and upload them to sites like SoundCloud or Mixcloud to backlink to our videos? And if so, would you ever create a tool to automate the process?
It is a good question. It's something that I've been thinking about as well. There are tools existing for things like SoundCloud that you can use for, increasing the sort of comments and likes and things like that. I think you can find those kind of tools available even on Fiverr.com. If we go into another tool after this one, it will be a tool called Backlink Alpha. That's the next one I want to do after this. And we will have things like doc sharing. We will have things like audio as well in there. Then, I would look at that at that stage. Is it advantageous? Yeah, of course it is, because it's giving more diversity in your link building. They're coming from sort of high PR sites as well, or high authority sites as well. They're almost like Web 2.0 sites, these audio sites. That's the way I look at them. And the same with the doc sharing sites. So it's kind of on the same sort of level of authority, I would imagine. So yeah, you can just give a little bit more diversity by doing that, but don't get into stuff that gets overcomplicated, that slows you down. Okay. If you don't have a solution for being able to do it quickly and being able to move forward quickly, I would just put it on the back burner and keep it as a thought until something comes up. Usually a solution will come up at some point, so that you don't slow yourself down, because if you're really determined sometimes that you want to go and test something, you can really significantly slow yourself down from making progress, just because there's no automated solution.
Scott would like to know if we can import IFTTT backlink commando accounts into VSA.
Yeah, I will make that available. I've actually asked for that before. I need to follow up on it. Yeah.
Ganti is saying, thank you, Tony, for keeping everything in one place and teaching us how to make money. You are the man.
Okay. Right, guys, I think what we'll do now is just wrap up. I will be in the Facebook group a little bit later. I'm going back to bed now. So I'll speak to you a little bit later. Robert, thanks for your time. And I've got a recording. Dan, did you do a recording as well?
I wasn't able to due to technical difficulties here on my end.
That's fine, okay. All right, so I will get a recording within the next sort of 12, 14 hours or whatever into the YouTube channel. All right, guys, thanks. See you soon.